Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada.
Prabhupada ki jai. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmalitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauratvishe Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So beginning Canto 3, Chapter 1. Questions by Vidura. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet. Okay, chapter overview. So initially the Maharaj Parikshit's questions, and Shukdev Goswami begins to answer. And then Shukdev Goswami narrates how Vidura, he tries to give advice to Duryodhan and Dhritarashtra, but then Duryodhana insults Vidura, and then Vidura leaves Hastinapur and goes on Tirthayatra, pilgrimage. And finally Vidura meets Uddhav, and he asks various questions regarding the well-being of various personalities. Okay, so that's basically the overview of the chapter. Okay, first verse. Shri Shuka Uvacha Evametat Pura Prishto Maitreyo Bhagavan Kila Kshatra Vanam Pravishtena Tyaktva Swagriham Ruddhimat. Shukdev Goswami said, after renouncing his prosperous home and entering the forest, King Vidura, the great devotee, asked this question of His Grace Maitreya Rishi. So, as we saw yesterday, the sages of Naimisharanya, they once again wanted to know about Vidura after having heard about Vidura's preaching to Dhritarashtra in the 13th chapter of the last canto. So therefore now, once again, Shukdev Goswami is beginning to narrate about Vidura. Or Sutta Goswami is narrating what he heard. Text 2. Yadva ayam mantra kridvo Bhagavan Akhileshwaraha Pauravendra. No, this meter is wrong. Yadvayam mantra kridvo Bhagavan Akhileshwaraha Pauravendra griham hitva praveshatmasat kritam. What else is there to say about the residential house of the Pandavas? Shri Krishna, the Lord of everything, acted as your minister. He used to enter that house as if it were his own, and he did not take any care of Duryodhan's house. So here Shukdev Goswami is speaking to Parikshit Maharaj, and Shukdev Goswami is appraising the house of the Pandavas, which the Lord used to regularly visit. Okay, purport.
Anything which satisfies the sense of the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna is also Sri Krishna. For example, Sri Vrindavan Dham is non different from Sri Krishna, Tad Dham Vrindavanam. Because at Vrindavan, the Lord enjoys the transcendental bliss of his internal potency. Similarly, the house of the Pandavas was also the source of transcendental bliss for the Lord. It is mentioned here that the Lord identified the house with his own self. Thus, the house of the Pandavas was as good as Vrindavan, and Vidura should not have given up that place of transcendental bliss. Therefore, the reason for his quitting the house was not exactly family misunderstanding. Rather, Vidura took the opportunity to meet Rishi Maitreya and discuss transcendental knowledge. For a saintly person like Vidura, any disturbance due to worldly affairs is insignificant. Such disturbances, however, are sometimes favorable for higher realizations, and therefore Vidura took advantage of a family misunderstanding in order to meet Maitreya Rishi.
So here Shukdev Goswami is indicating here that why did Vidura leave the house of the Pandavas, which was so dear to the Supreme Lord, non-different from the Supreme Lord? So why did Vidura leave that house? So that is the indication here. That is why he is speaking this. So a few points here, important points. So here Shukdev Goswami is saying that he used to enter that house as if it were his own. So that's how the Lord was identifying himself with the house of the Pandavas. Pravivesha Atmasat, identified with himself. But at the same time, Pauravendra Griham Hitva, he gave up the house of Duryodhan. So, why one house was special, another house was worth giving up? So, is this some partiality on the part of the Lord? Special favor to devotees. That means it's partial to devotees. Right. So back up with some Shastric quotes, verses. Okay, one is ye yathamam prapadyante. Okay, fine. Who says that? Lord Narayan to Durvas Muni. Durvas Muni, yes. So, because the devotees, they give up everything for the Lord, so therefore the Lord is ready to give up everything for the devotees. Correct. So this is Prabhupada's example in the 7th canto. The first chapter of the 7th canto is the Lord is equal to all. That is the first chapter. So in that chapter, Prabhupada gives this example. So if some student is sincere, then a teacher gives more time to that student. That is not partiality on the part of the teacher. That is because of the sincerity of the student. Another example? Sun and sunlight. हाँ क्या है? Okay, that's also right. Okay, good example. One more. हाँ अच्छा ठीक है, rain. So what happened to the rain? Okay, rain falls everywhere. Okay, that is correct. Rain falls. It falls on the ocean also. It falls on the land also, on rocks also. Everywhere it falls. But how it explains this Siddhanta? Okay, equality is explained. Mm. Mm. Correct. Yes, the father and the son. So this is also another of Prabhupada's example. So one must be aware of all these analogies Prabhupada often uses for any Siddhanta analogies. One must be aware. And verse, Bhagavad Gita verse, famous verse. Samoham sarvabhuteshu name dveshasti na priya. Again. Ye bhajanti tumam bhaktya mai te teshu chapyam. So I'm equal, but if somebody becomes my devotee, then I also reciprocate accordingly. So that is one point. Another point is which Srila Prabhupada is talking about achintya bhed abheda philosophy. Everything is Krishna, but at the same time is not Krishna. That is achintya bhed. So the house of the Pandavas is Krishna. But can we worship the house instead of Krishna? Hmm? Can we worship the house instead of Krishna? No. So there is simultaneous oneness and difference. Everything is Krishna. In the universe also everything is Krishna. Why? Yes, everything is Krishna's energy. And energy, energetic, non-different. So everything is Krishna, but still everything cannot be worshipped as Krishna. So that's the mistake of the Mayavadis. Half part of the philosophy is correct, other part is wrong. Everything is Krishna. That is correct. But then they think everything and anything can be worshipped as Krishna. No, that's not correct. And there's one famous lecture. Prabhupada said, car is Ford, but Ford is not the car. Car is Ford, but Ford is not the car. So on every car is written Ford. But that does not mean by seeing the car you meet Mr. Ford. No, you want to meet Mr. Ford, you have to go somewhere else. So this is the Achintya Bheda philosophy Prabhupada is speaking out here. So that's another point. So here Prabhupada says the house of Pandavas was as good as Vrindavan. And Vidura should not have given up that place of transcendental bliss. So the house of Pandavas was as good as Vrindavan. Why? Yes. So therefore, any place where the Lord is present, that is as good as Vrindavan. Whether it be a house or a church or a ghost haunted place or Bauri or storefront, any place where the Lord is present, that is as good as Vrindavan. So not that no, one cannot practice devotional service because this is Mumbai. I need to go to Vrindavan. Oh, no. Here very clear, right? The place is as good as Vrindavan. That is called Achintya Bheda Veda. No, that's what I'm saying. So if you're told to stay in Mumbai, you can make Mumbai into Vrindavan. You are representative. So the point is, that's what Srila Prabhupada did. Srila Prabhupada showed that, right? So many lectures Prabhupada says, don't think this is Los Angeles or London. This is Vrindavan. Gopalanpur, you want to go to Vrindavan? That's what Prabhupada is writing. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. But His Holiness Bhakti Tirth Maharaj showed that there is no need to leave body in Vrindavan. He left his body in Gita Nagari. Why? Just to show this. Because Srila Prabhupada visited Gita Nagari, he said that place is as good as Vrindavan. Just to show that, he could have come to Vrindavan, Mayapur, he could have come to leave his body. But just to show this Siddhanta, he left his body in Gita Nagari. So we have sufficient proof to back up. So there, Lord is also there, correct? In Gita Nagari, there is Radha Damodar, correct? So the Lord is there, and Prabhupada visited the place. So it's as good as Vrindavan. So, and here, this is house of the Pandavas. It's only house. But still, because the Lord was visiting that house, as good as Vrindavan. And so he says, Vidura should not have given up. Therefore, the reason for quitting the house was not exactly family misunderstanding. So, for a saintly person like Vidura, any disturbance due to worldly affairs is insignificant. So, it is not that he was disturbed by the politics in the palace. He was not disturbed by that. Devotee is not disturbed. Prabhupada often quoted the 6th chapter Bhagavad Gita. What is that? Dukkeshu gurunapi na vichalyet. So this comes in 6th chapter 23 to 20. 22, 23, 24. Yes, in these verses. A series of verses which are talking about the symptoms of a yogi in samadhi. So, guru na api, guru. Guru means big, big, big. So, even though a devotee may be faced, a yogi may be faced with big calamities, big dangerous situations, yes, this is what happens when as the yogi is trying to focus. So then the mind, so many distractions. Yato yato nishalati manas chanchalam asthinam tatastato niyam yetad. A lot of distractions are there. So therefore, even in the presence of all types of distractions, calamities, dangerous situations, how much ever great they may be, na vichalayet, the yogi does not get disturbed. He should not get disturbed. Why he does not get disturbed? Why he doesn't get disturbed? Yes. I'm forgetting those exact verses actually. In that verse only it is there. So in any case, but the important point is that because his focus is somewhere else. Yam labdva chapanam labam manyate na adhikam. So he's so fixed in his focus on the Supreme Lord, and he's experiencing such transcendental pleasure that he thinks there is nothing greater than this. Nothing greater than this. So when a devotee is fixed in devotional service, nothing greater than this. This is the highest achievement. Yesterday we were discussing, no? Chatushloki Bhagavat, last verse. One must search evam jigyasata. One must search up to this point. Which point? Pure love. Once one achieves that, nothing more. Nothing more to search. PhD is done. Nothing after that. the highest degree is obtained. So similarly, when one comes to devotional service, one, and especially one is getting an opportunity to stay with the Lord, in the house of the Lord. Here, at least, house of Pandavas, sometimes the Lord would visit and sometimes would go out also. But just think about it. Now we are staying in the place where the Lord is always present. He doesn't leave only. He leaves? No. Just think about the good fortune. We are staying in the place where the Lord is always present. We may not be present, but the Lord is always present. Mhm. So such amazing good fortune. Is there a greater achievement than this? Any greater achievement? Nobody is answering only. I think so. There's some other better thing than this. Huh? What? Golok Vrindavan. Play no. Who's stopping you from playing? The Lord is ready to play. The important question is whether you are ready. Oh. So there is no greater achievement than this. This is topmost achievement. So after achieving the topmost, why should one give it up? Why should one downgrade oneself? Topmost achievement we have got. There is no greater achievement than this. So if one understands this, then everything else becomes insignificant. This devotee said this. He gave him Mahaprasad. He didn't give me Mahaprasad. He got AC room. I didn't get AC room. He got bigger car. I got smaller car. What difference it makes? So when one understands this, na adhikam, there is nothing better than this, nothing greater than this. Pure devotional service. One has got the topmost. Once one understands that, na vichalayet, then nothing can disturb such a devotee, because he's experiencing the higher taste in devotional service. Then all these material things, all insignificant. Get it? Well and good. Don't get it? Well and good. Devotional service goes on. So that's what Prabhupada is writing. Any disturbance due to worldly affairs is insignificant. But the devotee goes one step ahead. What is that? Such disturbances are, however, sometimes favorable for higher realization, and therefore Vidar took advantage of a family misunderstanding in order to meet Maitreya Rishi. So the devotee goes one step ahead to make the unfavorable situation favorable. Examples. Bolo. Who made unfavorable situation favorable? Yes, Pradeep. Very good. Yes. So Anga, he had this notorious son, Vena. Initially he was lamenting, oh, what type of son. People say you get a son, you're fortunate. But I think myself very unfortunate. But then that became the cause for his detachment. So frustration led to detachment, and he left home for self-realization. You had something? Sudama, what happened to Sudama? Okay. So the poverty became impetus to meet the Lord. Okay, good. हाँ एक मिनट, नारद मुनि को, हाँ क्या हो गया नारद मुनि को? हाँ, yes, so she was, how she died? Yes, she was bitten by a snake, she died, and Narad took this as an opportunity to leave home and travel. And there Prabhupada writes a very beautiful statement. What? This is the way of the Lord dragging a sincere soul towards Him. This is how the Lord drags the sincere soul. Good. What else? Yes, Chetan. What happened? Okay, Maharaj Parikshit, he was cursed, but he took an opportunity to listen to the Bhagavatam. Dhruva Maharaj, bolo. Okay, so he was insulted by stepmother, but he took that as an opportunity to go and meet the Supreme Lord. Somebody was telling, bolo. Gajendra. Hmm. Yes, so the Gajendra, he took the opportunity to call out to the Lord helplessly. Akshay Prabhu? Hmm. Okay, his business collapsed. Yasyaham anugninami. Prishadra, Okay, he was cursed, then he did austerities and devotional service. Gopalan? Okay, so he sacrificed life for high cause. Mm. Mm. Okay, fine. So so many examples. This is how devotees, they use even unfavorable situations as favorable situations. They turn curses into blessings. Correct. Narad Muni cursed by Daksha, then yes, no need to stay in one place. Travel. And of course, Srila Prabhupada said, I also got curse from the parents of the disciples. So therefore, I also cannot stay in one place. Mm. Hmm? Yes, yes. Prabhupada, I'm passing the curse to the followers also. And also in this pastime of Arishtasur, everyone knows the pastime of Arishtasur, right? So the Arishtasur pastime, the killing of this demon Arishtasur became the cause for appearance of Radha Kund and Shyam Kund. And I think so. I mentioned this pastime in some previous class also. How some unfavorable situation in the US for Srila Prabhupada, some disciples were saying that he's God. Some Mayavad had infiltrated, but they were committing offenses, all that. So then that became the cause for Srila Prabhupada to come to India and preach. So apparently unfavorable situation, Prabhupada turned it into the most favorable situation, as a result of which we are all sitting here. Hmm? Yes. Yeah. Okay. When there was all the unfavorable situation, then the devotees used that to get some sympathy from the other people, life members and so on. Okay, fine. So similarly here, Vidura also used the unfavorable situation to leave home and meet Maitreya Rishi. So otherwise, The unfavorable situation in the palace was not the cause for his leaving home. That's what Prabhupada is making the point. It's not that Vidura was so disturbed because of Duryodhana and everything, therefore he left. No, there was a higher purpose. The devotee is not disturbed simply by the situation. Hmm. You also you always tend to have these type of questions. If I were, only if I were the manager, only if I were the controller, only if I were God. So now Krishna has orchestrated the whole thing. It has already happened. Now what is the point of saying if it was like अबे हो गया ना. तो प्रॉब्लम क्या है? हाँ तो वही प्रॉब्लम है ना.
That's what the question is.
So that's what the point is. The point is the devotee is not supposed to get disturbed by these things. So why should a devotee be disturbed by okay? Because we are not Mahabhagavat Paramahamsa, then okay, some thought may come, okay, ठीक है, नहीं मिला. But then it's not that it should disturb a devotee so much that the devotional service is hampered. So philosophy is meant for application. So what do you mean it's only philosophy? So philosophy is what? Philosophy and the application are two separate things. Oh, mic में बोलो.
So I have heard such kind of philosophy in situations that okay, this time I will compromise on this applications part. Next time you compromise, and then another philosophy will be applied. Like say for example, okay, two people are there. Somebody got bigger room, somebody got not so big room. So this time I will step down, and then I will accept it. Okay, fine. That is Lord's mercy. But in second time, when some another situation like this happens, that who will get a bigger car and smaller car, then I have seen this particular devotee will tell as a justification that see last time I compromised on the philosophy. This time you should compromise. So there will be a good relationship.
That means he has not understood the philosophy.
But that's what happened. That turns out.
No. That means the person has not understood the philosophy. He is misusing philosophy. He has not understood the philosophy, rather he is misusing the philosophy. So that's not the right application. Philosophy always remains philosophy. How can you play around with the philosophy? It's not that I use philosophy one time and next time I don't use philosophy. That means one has not understood the philosophy.
But anyways, the manager has to do like that only.
Let the manager do whatever he wants. The important question is whether I understood the philosophy.
But someone who is a manager is supposed to do that, right? Or this part.
Whether it is manager, non-manager or anyone, philosophy always remains philosophy and application of philosophy always remains application. Whether one wants to apply it or not, that is up to the individual devotee. So therefore, it is not that one time one applies the philosophy, next time one does not apply the philosophy. Where is the justification for this? No. Okay, fine. If the manager wants to show favoritism to one devotee one time and another devotee another time, that's his problem. That's another thing. But philosophy is always philosophy, and it always has to be applied in the right sense. Okay, fine. Okay, so now everyone is going to read one verse translation. Okay? Okay, I think so. Every day the balcony seats get preference. Pass the mic here. Okay, okay, you start. You start. You start. You have the mic. You start, and then pass it in front.
Third shloka. Third verse.
Third verse.
Direct translation.
Yes.
The king asked Sukdev Goswami, where and when did the meeting and discussion take place between Saint Vidura and His Grace Maitreya Muni? Kindly oblige my lord and describe this to us.
So this is the question Parikshit Maharaj is asking Shukdev Goswami. So because Shukdev Goswami said that Vidura, he put this question to Maitreya Rishi. So therefore, Parikshit Maharaj is asking, so where did the meeting take place? What questions were asked? Next.
Saint Vidura was a great and pure devotee of the Lord, and therefore his questions to His Grace Rishi Maitreya must have been very purposeful, on the highest level, and approved by learned circles.
Quite interesting, isn't it? This His Grace is nowhere in the Sanskrit actually. Huh? Hey. Last verse it's mentioned Bhagavat. Okay, Bhagavat means devotee, right? But then Prabhupada is specifically writing His Grace. And here of course, is there anything in this verse? No. But Prabhupada is specifically writing His Grace to respectful. So you can see how Prabhupada's consciousness, even while writing, he is not just translating, he is in the mood. So at no point of time there is compromise in the consciousness, in the etiquette. So you can see. Okay. And therefore his questions to His Grace Rishi Maitreya must have been very purposeful, on the highest level, and approved by learned circles. So Parikshit Maharaj is very eager to know those questions, because such a great devotee must have definitely asked meaningful questions. Variyasi prashna. Very purposeful questions. And so in all these conversations we find that whenever the ask some questions, whether it is Shukdev Goswami, Parikshit Maharaj, or Sutta Goswami and the sages, then when after the questions are asked, the first thing is what happens? Yes, the questions are appreciated. What is that verse? एक जन बोलो क्या हो गया? Bhavatbhi Lokamangalam. So these questions will be beneficial to everyone. So therefore, these questions have been glorified. So here also Parikshit Maharaj is eager to know, because he definitely knows that the questions will be very meaningful. And of course, in those purports, Prabhupada explains that in this world, everyone is asking some questions. Correct? From morning to night, birds, bees, humans, everyone is asking some questions. But then it depends on what type of questions we want to ask. So if we ask meaningful questions, then one will get meaningful answers. So therefore, one must go, Prabhupada writes towards the end of the first paragraph, or in the beginning he says, questions and answers by different classes of men can be guessed by the caliber of the persons concerned. So based upon the consciousness of the persons, then such type of questions are asked. And Prabhupada is giving the example of Krishna and Arjuna. Okay, further now. According to Srimad Bhagavatam, one is advised to approach a bona fide spiritual master when inclined to question from an elevated level of spiritual understanding. What is the verse? Famous verse? Tasmad Gurum Prapadyeta Jignasu Shreya Uttamam. So one has to inquire about Shreya, the ultimate well-being, elevated level of spiritual understanding. A common man who has no interest in spiritual values has no need to approach a spiritual master just as a matter of following fashion. Okay, so Prabhupada often said that accepting a spiritual master is not a matter of fashion. So accepting Master is serious business, not that just a fashion. Oh, I'm also initiated. Mm. So it's not a fashion, it's not a matter of some social prestige, social status. Not simply that. But then it is serious business. As Prabhupada writes, as a student, Maharaj Parikshit was serious about learning the science of God, and Shukdev Goswami was a bona fide spiritual master in the transcendental science. Both of them knew that the topics discussed by Vidura and Rishi Maitreya were elevated, and thus Maharaj Parikshit was very interested in learning from the bona fide spiritual master. Text 5.
Sri Sutta Goswami said, the great sage Sukadeva Goswami was highly experienced and was pleased with the king. Thus, being questioned by the king, he said to him, please hear the topics attentively.
Next.
Sri Shukadeva Goswami said, King Dhritarashtra became blind under the influence of impious desires to nourish his dishonest sons. And thus he set fire to the lacquer house, lacquer house to burn his fatherless nephews, the Pandavas.
Okay, read the short purport.
Dhritarashtra was blind from birth, but his blindness in committing impious activities to support his dishonest sons was greater blindness than his physical lack of eyesight. The physical lack of sight does not bar one from spiritual progress.
Example? Yes? Yes, Bilumangal Thakur. Yes, he was blind, but he was having darshan of Krishna. Who else?
Surdas.
Surdas, yes. कौन? कौन? अच्छा जो भी है. Okay, fine. Continue.
But when one is blind spiritually, even though physically fit, that blindness is dangerously detrimental to the progressive path of human life.
Yeah, so one may be physically blind, not such a great impediment. But what is a great impediment? Spiritual blindness. When one is blind spiritually, even though physically fit, that blindness is dangerously detrimental to the progressive path of human life. Okay, fine. So, a short discussion. So, what could be some of the causes of spiritual blindness in spiritual life? Wait. Discussion. Causes of spiritual blindness in spiritual life in the Brahmachari ashram. Second question. Hey, Haribol, listen to the questions first. Second question, so what could be the consequences of the spiritual blindness? Third question is remedies for spiritual blindness. Okay, 5 minutes. Quick. 3-4 devotees get together. Spiritual life focuses on Brahmachari ashram. Haribol. Loners not allowed. Association. Being in association is actual loneliness. Hey, Haribol, include him. problem. कुछ फेस्टिवल नहीं है ठीक बस मैसेज करो एक मैसेज मेरा नंबर है 83088 ठीक हो जाएगा Hare Krishna. Okay, enough time. Hare Krishna. Kindly settle down. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Okay. हो गया बहुत डिस्कशन हो गया पद्मा हाँ बोलो एक पॉइंट बोलो कॉजेस के लिए हाँ यहाँ से शुरू करें हाँ बोलो हाँ तो उससे क्या होता है Okay, one will not develop spiritual vision by not regularly reading Prabhupada's books. Okay, good point. Next. Okay, so unnecessary, useless talks, wasting time. Okay, next. Attachment to Krishna. Okay, material attachments. Material attachments. So what happens due to material attachments? A moment बहुत आगे moment. खुद का बोलो पहले. हाँ? Your reason, what you have told, is the most relevant in this situation. The cause of Dhritarashtra's spiritual blindness was attachment to, yes, to his son. So material attachment. So I want to know a little more. What happens due to material attachment? दोनों बाजू पंडित बैठे हैं उनको. Okay, so material attachments, wrong priorities, फिर क्या होता है? Okay, ulterior motives, wrong agendas, then the train goes on the wrong track. Okay, good. Okay, associating with the wrong people, empowering the wrong people, and going on the wrong path. Okay, next. Disobeying the spiritual authorities. Okay, fine. So what happens? Okay. Okay, then what happens? अरे सब कोड लैंग्वेज चल रहा है भाई. थोड़ा. Okay, fine. So not being obedient, then leads to what? Okay, offenses. Then offenses lead to loss of taste and all that. Okay, fine. वो एक ही ग्रुप है ना वो? हाँ, हो गया आपका. अरे आपका ग्रुप कौन सा है भाई? आपका कुछ अलग ही दुनिया चल रहा है. ओ निताई, कौन सा ग्रुप है आपका? आपका ग्रुप तो गोलोक में लग रहा है. हाँ. Not taking advice from others. He listened advice very nicely. आपका point wrong है भाई. Very nicely he listened to advice. Taking advice from the wrong people. तो उससे क्या होता है? Okay, taking advice from the wrong people and not from the right people. Okay, good. Fault finding tendency. ठीक है. Fault finding tendencies. Okay, that also will lead to spiritual blindness. Okay. और कोई ग्रुप है वहाँ पे? अच्छा, those who elevate in the air, they are floating. So one should associate with only those who are floating a few meters above the ground. ऐसे है क्या कोई? Oh, अच्छा. Consciousness should be high. मतलब क्या है उसका? हाँ. Okay, fine. Okay, so not taking the right association. Okay, good. हाँ, पवन पकड़. तो वही हो गया ना, मेटल अटैचमेंट. वही है. Okay, fine. हाँ, वो सब हो गया. Okay, next. Consequences तो हो गया ना, causes में consequences आ गया. Okay, solution. Okay, let's start from here. Solution. जल्दी बोलो. Daily 5 minutes. Quality time मतलब क्या है? So 1 minute also you read, it's good, right? So what is your recommendation? 2 hours every day. That's quite a luxury, no? You're talking besides Bhagavatam class, Bhagavad Gita class. Okay, if somebody can do it, very nice. Okay, so regular reading. Okay, fine. Next group. नहीं ये बीच में ग्रुप है ना, या ये सब एक ही ग्रुप है? एक ही ग्रुप है. Okay, good. बोलो नेक्स्ट. Okay, fine. Right association. Okay. Next. अरे ये ग्रुप रह गया लक्ष्य. हाँ, चुपचाप बैठे हैं, सब साधु महात्मा लोग हैं. अच्छा अच्छा. अच्छा, आप भी उसी ग्रुप में हैं क्या? दिस इज कॉल्ड. ठीक है, अभी बोलो. अभी पिछले इसका भी बोलो. थोड़ा परपोर्ट देना पड़ेगा भाई. हाँ. हम्म. ओके, सो मैकेनिकली परफॉर्मिंग. हाँ, आप कुछ बोल रहे. ओके, सो हाउ टू काउंटरैक्ट दिस. बोलो बोलो शास्त्री. हाँ, वो ठीक है. प्रॉब्लम तो समझ गए, सॉल्यूशन क्या है? Okay. And what else? Very, very important point. Not performing devotional service mechanically. So, what's the solution? Your point is correct, but a little more, yes. So, what's the meaning of association? Okay. Okay. Fine. Association. Right. I'm looking for one more important point as well. Yes. That's a good point. Yes. Developing spiritual outlook towards. Right. Yes, that's important. Developing a spiritual outlook. And that, of course, comes by proper practices, knowledge, realization. Then one has the spiritual outlook, one has the right perceptions towards the deities, towards the devotees, towards the guru, towards the scriptures. So, to the degree one has the right perception, the right outlook, then one does not take things for granted and one does not do things mechanically. Because when one has the right perception, one takes things seriously, correct? There is the possibility of offending the Lord is much less than offending devotees, correct? Why? It's easier to have a spiritual perception of the Lord, but then the same perception towards devotees and paraphernalia, that becomes a little more difficult because we don't have that spiritual consciousness. So more the spiritual consciousness is there, right perception, then one can perform the services in the right consciousness. Okay, good. So next group there. Hey, let them speak now. Maun Vrat or what? So you speak now your best points. Huh? Yeah? Remedies, correct. Okay, good point. Resetting our spiritual goals. Okay, that's a good point. Yes, then we can remove the spiritual blindness. Okay, good. Sadhu wants to speak. Correct. So how to attract the mercy? So how to do pure devotional service? So what is mean of proper chanting? Careful, attentive chanting. Okay, being attentive to all our services. Okay, good, good. Thank you. हाँ, यहाँ कौन है? आदित्य नाम प्रभु कुछ बोल रहे हैं? हाँ, ठीक है, उनको बोलने दो. सुंदरानंद प्रभु को बोलने दो. हाँ. Elevated devotees. Okay, okay. Association and serving, yes. What happens because of that? क्या होता है उससे? Okay, okay, the spiritual consciousness will develop. Good. यार, यहाँ एक ग्रुप है ना? वापस आएंगे आपके? हाँ, हाँ. आपने बोला ना कुछ, इनको बोलना ना? अभी हो गया ना अभी एलिवेटेड से ग्रेट हो गया क्या? हाँ, उससे क्या होता है? What happens by cooperation amongst the Vaishnavas? We discussed. What happens by cooperation? Yes, Krishna is pleased. Krishna says, Tushtoham, Tushtoham. I'm satisfied, pleased by the friendly behavior, cooperation amongst the devotees. Then when Krishna is pleased, then what will happen? No, in the context of what we are discussing. So we said by cooperation, Lord will be pleased. Then what will happen? So then Krishna will give what? Chakshudan dilo ye janme janme Prabhu say. So Krishna will give chakshu, the spiritual chakshu. Prema bhakti yaha hoite avidya vinashayati. So that will be the result when Krishna is pleased. So yes, so ultimately, of course, that's our ultimate goal, to satisfy Krishna, please Krishna through all the different practices, and then Krishna will remove, the Guru will remove Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Onmilitam Yena Tasmai. Yes, sir, Narsim Prabhu? अच्छा, बेस्ट रेमेडी है. अच्छा अच्छा, क्या होता है उसे? पहले ये बताना होगा इंट्रोस्पेक्शन का मतलब क्या है. ओके ओके ओके, फाइन, दैट्स आल्सो गुड. लेकिन कितना समय करना चाहिए? नहीं तो कई दिन बीत जाएंगे उसी में. अच्छा, ठीक है, good point. Okay, fine. So in this way one can get rid of the spiritual blindness, which is a great impediment, as Prabhupada is writing, dangerously detrimental to the progressive path of human life. So therefore one should not be in spiritual blindness, but then one should come out of spiritual blindness. हाँ बोलो मुकुंद. So now your next question is who's elevating?
Who's elevated? That is not who. But still we are having that issue within ourselves, attachment to the ghost position. So if association has the impact that should be get reduced, then why it is not? So we are doing the action which is on that.
तो अभी प्रश्न वही है, what is association? एसोसिएशन का मतलब क्या है? जस्ट स्टेइंग टुगेदर? बोलिए ना मुकुंद मत, आप बताइए. आप तो बड़े बड़े लेक्चर्स देते हो.
Just asking questions. So I'm just
नहीं नहीं ठीक है ना, वो तो यहाँ डिस्कशन चल रहा है.
So, association means to serve the Vaishnavas or to fall, as per my understanding.
To serve. So what does it mean to serve? Serving prasadam? ठीक है, वो ठीक है. और कुछ है क्या? But then, what's your understanding? You can tell.
Serving, discussing Krishna Katha, and like that.
ठीक है, हाँ शरद प्रभु.
So association best is NOI 4th shloka, Dadati Pratigranati Guhyam Akhyati. So revealing one's mind in confidence and inquiring from submissively from other devotees and trying to introspect. In that way we'll be able to actually not see the faults and trying to understand actually.
ठीक है. That's what's good.
Revealing one's mind, Prabhuji, sometimes is
Very difficult.
very. Trust is in such a way you reveal your dark side to someone, and
Then
it
it's
will
on
be
the
like,
internet, correct?
that person will be like, he will be using as a weapon, for the future. So, it's very difficult to put that trust.
Agreed. I mean, I perfectly agree with what you said. I perfectly agree.
So maybe dadati pratighinati, you give prasad, you take
So-
prasad, but after that,
So therefore the next question is, what does Guhyam Akyati Pruchuti mean? What does Guhyam Akyati Pruchuti mean? Talking Krishna conscious things. Okay. Right. So Prabhupada writes in the purport, experienced devotee speaks and the inexperienced listens. So when we talk of Guhyam Akyati Pruchuti, it's not to any Tom, Dick and Harry. So it refers to one who is experienced, and we have faith and trust in that experienced devotee. That is the meaning of Guhyam Akyati Prachuti. And so it's not that it has to be something very confidential only. No, it can be anything in regards to our challenges and practices of devotional service. That is one thing. That's personal. That's personal, one-to-one. That's talking about one-to-one. But Guhyam Akyati Prachuti could also mean something more. Or association could also mean something more. So the most important thing about association, like best example for us, Srila Prabhupada. अरे गुह्यम आकृति प्रचिति बाद में भाई, यहाँ नहीं. So so when Srila Prabhupada took association from Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, few minutes on one Ultadanga Road junction on the roof of that building for a few minutes, what happened? Yeah, that's one part of it. Somebody said the right thing. Transformation. On the spot. Transformation. At that moment itself, he accepted that instruction of his spiritual master as his life and soul. That's the meaning of taking association seriously. So even though it was a short meeting, he read that instruction and he took that as his life's mission. That is the meaning of association. So if one is serious about the association, then whatever the other person says, one takes it very seriously. So we read the scriptures, we are taking association of Srila Prabhupada. Or we hear other Vaishnavas, we're taking their association. But then when we hear, then from what I hear, what am I going to apply? That is the meaning of taking the association seriously. So that association should bring about transformation. And if the candidate is so serious, then lavamatra sadhusam sarva siddhi. But then for that lavamatra sadhusam to take effect, that must also be the consciousness of the recipient. So when the recipient is so serious, then lavamatra sadhusam is sufficient. So it depends on us, how we take advantage of the association. So otherwise, we could get so much association, we could hear so much, chant so much, so many things we could do. But if we are not in that mood of receiving and applying, His Holiness Loknath Maharaj always, ikudun, tikudun, ikudun. क्या होने वाला है? So it all depends on how we are ready to apply what we have heard. So that's what we were saying. Philosophy is not simply meant for, as Prabhupada says, armchair speculation. All armchairs. अच्छा है, अच्छा डिस्कशन हो गया, अच्छा डिस्कशन, फर्स्ट क्लास. हाँ, मजा आ गया. But what next? So that's up to every individual. So if we are in the mood of absorbing, and even few things said, one absorbs and then one tries to apply. That makes the difference. That's what's real association. Then not much time is required. So then we have all those examples, Mrigari, Valmiki. It didn't take much time. Why? Because they took the other person very seriously. So that's how we can remove the spiritual blindness, and then progress will become very quick. Okay? Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. 10 minutes break and we'll continue. Hare Krishna.